His Honor, Judge Parker, all rise.
I have a peppermint to settle my stomach.
Yes, sir. What's it? The United States Court of the Western District, having criminal jurisdiction in the Indian Territory, is now in session.
Is that Judge Parker, the hanging judge?
Yeah. He's a tough customer. There's no appeal from his court except to the President of the United States.
Call Deputy Marshal Cogburn.
Mr. Reuben J. Cogburn will take the stand.
Sworn this morning is still sworn. Take the stand. Defense will cross-examine.
Mr. Cogburn, you testified for the prosecution this morning. Now, in order to refresh our memories, allow me to summarize what you said. Now, according to your story, C.C. Wharton grabbed up a shotgun and killed Marshal Potter. And then he turned the gun on you say, and you shot him. Then you say the father swung his axe and you shot him, too. The defendant here tried to run, you say, and you also shot him.
Just winged him, or he wouldn't be here to pay up. The old man and C.C. hit the ground dead.
How long have you been a deputy marshal, Mr. Cogburn?
4 years come March.
How many men have you shot in that time?
The prosecution objects.
Overruled.
How many men have you shot since you became a marshal, Mr. Cogburn?
I never shot nobody. I didn't have to.
That was not the question. How many?
Shot or killed?
Oh, let's restrict it to killed so we may have a manageable figure.
Well, 12 to 15, stopping men in flight and defending myself.
12 to 15. So many that you cannot keep a specific count. I have examined the records, Mr. Cogburn. A much more accurate figure is available. Come now, how many?
Well, counting them 2 Whartons, 23.
I felt you would come to it with a little effort. 23 dead men in 4 years. That makes about 6 men a year.
It's a dangerous business.
Oh, how much more dangerous for those arrested by you. Now, is it not true that you sprang upon Old Man Wharton and his 2 sons with a deadly 6-shot revolver in your hand?
I always try to be ready.
Was this revolver loaded and cocked?
Well, a gun that's unloaded and cocked ain't good for nothing.
Just answer my questions, if you please.
Well, a question don't make sense.
Don't bandy words with counsel, Mr. Cogburn.
Yes, sir.
I believe you testified that you backed away from Old Man Wharton.
Yes, sir.
Which direction were you going?
Backward. I always go backward when I'm backing away.
I appreciate the humor of that remark. Aaron Wharton was standing by a pot when you arrived?
More like squatting. He was stirring the fire under the scalding pot.
How far did you back away?
6, 8 steps.
Meaning Wharton advanced on you about the same distance? 6 or 8 steps? Say about 16 feet?
Something like that.
Then will you explain why the body was found immediately by the washpot, one arm in the flames, the sleeve and hand smoldering?
Them hogs. They was rooting around. They may have moved the body.
Hogs, indeed.
Mr. Gowdy, do you have any more questions for Mr. Cogburn?
None that I'll get a straight answer to. I'm finished with it.
You are dismissed, Mr. Cogburn. Call the next witness.
Cecil Fallingly, take the stand. Raise your right hand.
Mr. Rooster Cogburn?
What is it?
I'd like to talk with you a minute. They tell me you're a man with true grit.
Well, what do you want? Speak up.
I've already wrinkled the paper. It's pretty loose because your makings are too dry. I'm looking for Tom Cheney.
Well, who's he?
He's the man that shot and killed my father, Frank Ross. They tell me he's over in the Indian Territory, and I need somebody to go after him.
Well, who are you?
Mattie Ross. My family has 480 acres of good bottom land near Dardanelle in Yell County.
Uh-huh.
My mother's home looking after my baby sister and my brother, little Frank.
Well, then why don't you go home and leave me alone? They'll need help with the churning.
Mr. Cochran? You can get a fugitive warrant for Tom Cheney, and the government will give you $2 for bringing him in, plus 10 cents a mile for each of you. And on top of that, I'll give you $50 reward.
Well, you've looked into this right smart.
Yes, I have. I mean business.
What do you got there in your poke? Why, by God, girl, that's a Colt's Dragoon. You're no bigger than a corn nubbin. What are you doing with all this pistol?
Belonged to my father. He carried it bravely in the war, and I intend to kill Tom Cheney with it if the law fails to do so.
Well, this'll sure get the job done if you can find a fence post to rest it on while you take aim.
I'm afraid nothing's going to be done about Cheney unless I do it myself.
I don't think you got $50.
I've got some horse trading to do. I will have it by tomorrow. Do you know a robber by the name of Lucky Ned Pepper?
I know him. Well, I shot him in the lip last August over at Winding Stair Mountains. He was lucky that day, all right. My shooting was off.
Well, I think Tom Cheney's tied up with him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. Ned Pepper, huh?
Yeah?
Well, baby sister, I don't think you can get $50. But if you're hungry, I'll take you home and give you supper. We'll talk it over. Make medicine. How does that suit you?
Right down to the ground. I'd like to meet your family.
This is my father, Chen Li, and my nephew, General Sterling Price.